Let's get talking now. Housing, like food and clothing, is the most fundamental of the three basic human needs. Its availability is critical to the well-being of all people. The lack of adequate housing affects people's health, safety, and productivity, as well as their ability to access education and other essential services. And the performance of the real estate industry is one of the yardsticks used to assess a country's health. Well, talking more on this issue, I'm being joined by the Group CEO of ZYLUS Group International. Here's in person of Dr. Oluwatosin Olatujoye. Thank you so much. It's good to have you on the program.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And it's great. It's the first time on the show, so we appreciate this.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, let's start about this housing deficit thing. I've been covering that bit for some time, and like I said in my introduction, the figures keep changing by time. And as of today, they say it's more than 28 million. Some say it's less than that. But what do you really think? How can we, or how serious is the housing deficit, and how has it affected residents, of course, middle-income earners and others?
All right, so thank you very much. I'm really happy that you're bringing this live to people to understand how serious is the housing deficit in this country. And as a matter of fact, the total population, as we have always been saying, is over 200 million in Nigeria. And looking at that population alone is very alarming compared to looking at the housing deficit we have at the moment. So housing deficit alone in the country is amounting to over 200 million now. And this is really alarming. And if things are not done on time, then it will be a major challenge. So let me give you some practical analysis that I've done. And by the time we're going to be 100 years as a country, at the moment we are 62. And we are talking about the fact that the housing deficit is around 28 million estimated. So by the time we're 100 years, so this means that our population will be over 120 million Nigerians. And that will be giving us about 45 million housing deficit estimated. So this is going to be a great issue, and a lot of people will be affected by this if drastic solution is not taken as we speak, because by that time, the housing deficit will be more than what we're seeing now. So
I would now want to ask a professional and a player in the industry like you, that what are you doing to try to bridge this gap, address this? Affordable housing to me is relative, because it's not easy to say affordable housing because the materials are not very cheap. Yeah. But what are you doing to bridge this gap?
All right, so let me say something about what you just said about affordable housing. The fact is that as we speak, there's nothing like affordable housing. And I was opportune to attend a program with the former Minister of Works and Housing, and Babatunde Rajesh Fashola. So I was in that program. I was hammering on not affordable housing, but a flexible payment plan housing, where people can afford to pay, where people can easily pay for their housing unit. Because if you look at the minimum wage and what people are earning at the moment, can anybody afford to bring out the bulk money? Either it is affordable or not. You know, we said affordable, and majorly we see affordable by word of mouth.
Yes.
It's not really practical in the market space. So flexible payment plan will make people to be able to pay as little as they earn based on their salary for their housing need. And I've seen some solutions abroad and everywhere where there is house to rent, house to own. You rent it towards owning it. I'm not sure that is working presently in the country as the way we expected.
Yes.
Then the other one is that if there's a mortgage bank, it's like tripartite arrangement now. The government provide land.
Yeah.
The private investors come with fund and their expertise to build. Then the mortgage bank also come in to be a middleman for anybody that is subscribing to any project to be able to pay according to their salary. Because once this is done, I believe it will solve a lot of issues about housing. And people will be able to easily pay for their housing units.
For like a company like yours now, what you do, let's talk about the challenges you face in going about your day-to-day activities. You're trying to provide a service, but at times, of course, there'll be challenges in some ways, either from government, either from some policymakers. How challenging has that been, and how well are you trying to surmount it?
All right, so it has been very challenging, but as a business, you need to keep coming up with innovative ideas and also looking for ways at which you can navigate every challenges that you have. So for us, majorly every developers want to collect their money in bulk. But for us, we've been able to create a flexible payment plan in ZYLUS Homes and Property for people to be able to pay on installment even up to 18 months. And at the same time, we are working with our mortgage bank to warehouse all these units of construction. Then anybody coming in to buy or to own those units can create an arrangement with the mortgage bank through us to be able to pay on installment basis based on their salary. There was a time I was giving analysis of our staff in the office, and I was looking at the least person that is earning and a certain amount of money. And I was like, how will this person be able to buy a house for himself or for herself? So it is very important for us to see how we can bring in a kind of an easy payment plan, which I call flexible payment plan. Let's forget affordable homes. It is flexible payment plan. So when the payment is flexible and it match up with what I am earning, then I'll be able to own a home.
The discussion around government creating policies that will help access, because I'm one of those that believe that the private sector have an important role to play in issues like this, and housing cannot be isolated. Private people like you must definitely come in, do business, make money. But what sort of level playing ground are you expecting from government? We have a new government, and we see some decisive steps being taken. And of course, housing will be one of the major things that they will want to address. What are those things you think can make your job easier? Let me ask that way.
Okay, so as a forward-thinking government we have now that is really pushing a lot of policy in place, and within the period of less than 2 months, and we're all seeing what is happening at the moment. I want to believe that housing deficit should be part of the things the government is looking at, and how to pass a reasonable policies that will make people to be able to pay for their housing using a flexible payment method. So by so doing, I believe with the stakeholders, there should be a stakeholders meeting where everybody discuss the solution. And I believe once this is discussed, we'll be able to pencil down 1 or 2 benefits and also bring up some policies that will be used to, make this easy for people. And I believe the government will still look at that, and possibly there will be something like that soon.
But what are the prospects for, let's say, public-private partnership in addressing this house? If public and private guys come together, partner to address this housing challenge, what are the prospects for you? What do you see in that
market? It will be very massive because, according to the Land Use Act, it is stated that all land belongs to government. So government owns all the entire land. And all this land are just lying down there. Nobody is using them. So this is a time that government needs to have a stakeholders meeting with developers, and let's see how we can partner with the government on a joint venture arrangement where government provide the land, we provide the expertise, and we build a mass housing for people to start acquiring with an easy payment plan. I'm saying easy payment plan because if you look at what people are earning, if they are not going to steal, then which is not encouraging.
Yes,
and you cannot steal and go scot-free.
Yes, so go scot-free.
So it's not good. So
it's the music.
You just have to create an easy payment plan for people to be able to pay according to the salary they earn.
Technology plays a role in everything. We can't rule that out. But how can we also use that when it comes to housing?
Yes, so technology is very important, and we need to look at it also critically. I was in a conference, and we're talking about how to manufacture house and not to build house. And if you're going to manufacture a house, then it means that you must bring in some technology to do that. And if you can do that, it means that the quantity of housing that we'll be able to produce within a short period of time will increase.
Yeah.
And we'll be able to escape inflation, which we cannot control as a developer. And one of the greatest challenges that we're facing even at the moment is continuous rise in some things, and it's really affecting construction. So as a developer, you must think on how you can, purchase your materials ahead and be able to cushion the effect of inflation.
I really want to, that you mentioned is very important. Let's talk a little bit about it, this material thing. I'm a little aware, my little knowledge of this, that at the time, a ton of iron, the amount he used to go for. Yeah. And I know the amount it goes for now. Yeah. Forex issues has affected that because we import some of this. Tell us a little bit about that material aspect and how you've been able to cope with it. Because some of us will believe, maybe that's why some people have to bend and, give us substandard buildings and look at the challenges we face with building collapses around the country.
Yeah, so if you look at the materials used for building construction, and everything is affected by inflation. So if the inflation rate changes today, tomorrow, it will automatically affect the price of cement, it will affect the price of iron and all that. And if you look at, for the past 1 year now, the rate at which things are changing. Before now, we buy diesel less than 200 naira. Diesel is now roughly 700, 600 plus. And now we're talking about the fuel subsidy removal.
Yes.
Making fuel price to move from what it was before to almost about 500 per litre. So all this affects housing because in terms of development, price will change according to what is happening in the market. Do you understand? Yeah. So to solve that, we need to start looking at a situation whereby even before you start your construction, you must have tied down your materials to be used for your construction so that at every point in time, you know that at that point, you have been able to escape any price increase that will come in the future.
That is really a good one. Buying your products, that you make a projection and just fill your site up and that you just get your work done. Okay, now let's talk about environmental friendly houses. These days we are talking about going green, almost all facets. Everybody's talking about green. How can developers ensure that their projects are environmentally sustainable, of course, and contribute to a greener environment? That is what everyone wants to talk about at the moment.
All right, so that is very important because of the pollution the high rate of pollution we have in the country, So introducing green into what we build now is also very important. Like ours, and one of our projects called Tiwa Garden City, we ensure that we plant over 1,000 trees in that estate. And this is towards, increasing the greenery nature of every estate and, to bring in a good air that people can breathe in and, enjoy the kind of atmosphere that will be within the estate. So it's very important we start looking at that. Definitely you've been to Abuja before, and you see the way the breeze, peaceful and little air pollution there, So these are things that as a developer, we need to start looking at having greens in any of our estate that we're building.
Very interesting stuff. Now, what's the feature of the housing sector? Not just, can we say Lagos? We stay with Lagos or even the entire country. What is what opportunities exist for investors and developers like you?
All right, thank you very much. Even in Lagos alone, we have over 28 million population alone. So it shows that with the way Lagos is jam-packed with houses now, it means that by the time Lagos increase in years, the population increase, definitely there will be need for housing.
Yes.
So this gives a room for an investor to see the reason why they need to come in to invest heavily in housing in Nigeria because the market is still very vast. And even the developers we have at the moment, building constructions cannot even solve the entire housing deficit we have. So we need to do more. We need to keep building. And there are great opportunities out there in the real estate sector.
We should expect more from you too.
Yes, of course.
I must thank you so much.
All right, thank
Interesting conversation. Group CEO and immediate past chairman of the same, of ZYLUS Group International. I've been speaking to Dr. Oluwatosin Olatujoye. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us on this very important topic. And we'll keep a tab. Anytime we have issues around housing, we have you speak around it on the show. We appreciate this so much.
I'll be glad to be
All
here.
right, then.
All
Thank you.